Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays and I'm in the Harekaze, a tier 8 premium Japanese destroyer. I'm on the map Northern Lights in a 4-point domination game. It's a tier 8 battle, there is one tier 6 carrier and there is one raider. Now speaking of the carrier has already rudely interrupted me. I wanted to go towards C, but there were planes in the way and he even dropped a fighter plane there. And well, I'm affected right now. So first I slowed down my approach. I was hoping that I could wait out the planes, but you know, the planes are coming. So hey, I shot down a few of them, so that's nice. Now there is a drop and that should be easily dodgeable. So far the enemy guns haven't hit me too much either, so I guess an acceptable start. Now I would have obviously liked to actually get into a cap by now, but hey, not taking any damage and surviving the carrier, that's definitely a good start in some ways. Now we also spotted the Tallinn, so now I know exactly where the raider is. Well, I mean, I kinda know where the raider is because it's no longer spotted, so I assume he's trying to cover the decap, so he's probably sitting next to that island there in the 9 line. Well, the planes are back. And they aren't coming. Oh yeah, they are trying to drop a Cleveland, sure. I mean, as a tier 6 carrier, what you really wanna go is for a tier 8 anti-air cruiser. And I mean, he got his job off, he just missed. Oh, Warships, you're so silly. Anyway. Meanwhile, my division mate here is inside the C cap, and it looks like our third destroyer is there as well. There is a Kagero there in the 1-2 line. An enemy one. And it would be nice if our third destroyer would have tried to cover his side, I think, or our carrier. But, you know, nothing too bad has happened just yet. Now, we saw some torps coming this way, obviously. Yeah, there is the Fubuki. So Fubuki's concealment is, or should be like 6.1. Obviously mine is 5.4, so I vastly outspot him. I could just keep him spotted here and let my team do this. But the Harekaze has pretty decent guns, so I'm gonna get involved in there and I'm gonna just shoot at Fubuki. Now obviously enemies are going to shoot me. There's Tallinn, specifically the Fubuki. Why isn't he Okay, so this Fubuki, either he doesn't have conceal. He has a cover, right? So I mean, this Fubuki probably just didn't have concealment expert, which, you know, might mean it's a new player who doesn't have like the 10-point cap yet. Poor guy. Anyway, so at this point I expect the Tallinn to raider me, because you know that Tallinn was shooting me and I'm inside its raider range. And I mean, it could be on cooldown. Maybe I don't know why he would have raided earlier, to be honest, because there have been much reason to, but we'll never know. Anyway, he's not raidering me currently. The carrier, it looked like he was coming this way, but he also diverged towards C, so I'll just reverse in here and take the cap. Now, of course, at this point, you'd be like, haha, maybe the Tallinn is outsmarting me. He was waiting for this moment. Tallinn raider isn't that long, and there aren't many other ships to shoot me, except the Tallinn, probably. So I've decided it's worth the risk, right? And if he raiders now, I just speed boost and try to wiggle. And should get away with it. But he's still not raidering. Anyway, I'm just taking the cap then. Now we are one ship behind, but one ship isn't the biggest deal, I suppose. We've lost another destroyer, which is a shame. But yeah, I mean, the Tallinn is still not raidering. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm launching some troops that are probably not gonna hit. But you know, I assume I'm tracking the Tallinn, right? There's the Fantask. Okay, the Fantask is probably in C. You'll never know, right? If the Tallinn like runs away, then maybe the torps catch up to it. It's like in situations like this, sometimes I use one torp launcher because I feel like, you know, I don't really have another good torpedo target right now. So might as well throw out some random ones, because we might get lucky. And I have one launcher in the back in the case for an emergency or shit hits the fan, so I still have at least one launcher. So, well, there is the front task. And it didn't just go into this camp and try to take it, it's just full on YOLO mode. And also something that I'm not sure why, because he could have just, you know, poked into the camp from this side and then easily escaped if needed. Now he's just rushing straight through it, and is he gonna top our Duca? I mean... Wait, is the Duca shooting armor piercing at him? Did I just see this right, or do I imagine things? Did the Duca really just try to shoot that destroyer with armor piercing? Now that Fantask just keeps coming. Now he's going after Dunkirk. Our carrier is just passing by, he doesn't care. There are the torpedoes. Oh, I'm trying to get a bit of gunfire in there and help out. So... Can we get it? Yep. It's down. Oh look, there is the Tallinn again. Technically still inside radar range, but you know, I've come to the conclusion that this Tallinn probably has no idea what radar is. Or maybe, I don't know, boycotting radar for some reason. I have no idea, but I don't think this Tallinn will ever press its radar button. So our Dunkirk took a bit of damage there, but it's still floating, so that's nice. Meanwhile, it looks like the Scharnhorst and the Mogami are pushing here through the 9-10 line. We have one Colorado there. So maybe we should have kept like a destroyer. I don't know, like we kind of... I wanted to obviously stop what's happening at the C cap. We might also need a destroyer here on the A cap to stop the push there. There is still a Kagero harassing us there. It would be nice if our carrier, for example, would like do some spotting against that Kagero, wouldn't it? Because that Kagero is probably a huge problem for those guys, constantly torping them. And honestly, I mean, myself and Viper, we probably should have sent one of us there earlier, right? We weren't both necessarily needed at B, so one of us could have gone there. But so far... Well, okay, so far we are 2 ships behind, so it's not ideal. Now I'm currently thinking, right, if I go through here and the Tallinn... What if the Tallinn actually raiders at some point? Because he really hasn't so far. But what if at one point he is pressing that button? But, you know, I'm just going for it now there. I feel like at a certain point, I can now basically assume this Tallinn is not a raider ship, right? There has just been too much evidence. But, you know, I mean, he might accidentally press it while, you know, whatever. So, Viper is in the lightning. He has smoked my friend in the Cleveland here, and the lightning smoke obviously isn't going to last very long. Also looks like our Cleveland has kind of... he can't light a very long smoke trail, so anyway. I'll provide my smoke here as well. There are obviously 3 battleships here as a Cleveland. You just don't want to sit spotted in front of 3 battleships. I have also launched some torps there. I mean, those battleships are very inviting torpedo targets, aren't they? And... well, I got 2 torps into the West Virginia. Something. But you know, it's really about time that I go back towards the D cap, right? So Viper is now going to remain here, while the Sinop and the West Virginia are still tempting torpedo targets, I guess. We really need to stop the push from the other side. Now the enemy is down to 1 destroyer, mind you. And, oh, the enemy is just losing a few ships there, that's good. The West Virginia is down, the Scharnhorst here that pushed is down. The Tallinn should still be relatively low. So we are doing fine. But, yeah, down goes the Tallinn. We don't want the event to here coming around. And, you know, I guess the 3-line push has basically faltered at this point. But still, like, if the enemy pushes you on 2 sides and you get caught in a crossfire, it can easily turn things around. Also, that 2k is low. The Colorado is not that healthy anymore. Still pretty close game, I'd say. Now, I wanna get a bit closer there and drop the Vento. I could try to go for the Mogami. The Mogami seems to be in retreat here, and like the Mogami is probably going to maneuver a lot. While the Vento, I'm not so sure, right? He also has an island blocking him to turning one way. So I'd either have to turn towards us, or he needs to pass this island and then turn away. So right now the torps look pretty good here, because if he wants to turn away there, then he'll still run into this path. And there are some torps. And now I'm detected. So I should have used both launchers there, but I got quite a bit distracted there by a sudden appearance of a carrier. And my smoke screen isn't ready, right? This is bad, because I'm close to the Vento and the Mogami. So I should probably try to torp there again. Now... oh, damn it. So I saw that the carrier dropped there in front of me, and I was like, yeah, sure, but that was a very bad angle for me to dodge. So things are not going too well, although I'm in concealment again. So shit hit the fan pretty quickly, right? I'm finally gonna use those other torps. I should have just used both launchers there first. But I was still thinking if I wanna like offset the second launch a little bit in case he maneuvers when the carrier interrupted me. So let's just blame the carrier for that. Well, there goes our Duca, but you know what? The battleship's still flooding, so... I guess I only needed one launcher. This is the problem, right, if your smokes aren't ready. I can play around the getting spotted by those ships, by the surface ships, but if the carrier just shows up, you just screw the times. And that, like, I guess the angles in which the last torpedo drops came at me were just rude. Let's just call it rather rude. But, you know, other fun fact, I do run Yamamoto here, right? Which means if I were to manage to unleash a Kraken, I could actually heal. I need 2 more kills though. So, oh, somebody spanked this Mogami, that's nice. You know what would also be nice, like a fire or something? Well, then again, he's getting so low. I don't think we need the fire. Yeah, Harekaze has some pretty decent guns, and at least with so low health, I'm getting quite a bit of an adrenaline rush. Now here, there are 2 possible options for me, right? One is go D, and the other is go E. Honestly, going D is in many ways a good choice because, well, caps, right? We have a huge points lead. If we flip D, we both have equal points income and we'll just win before them. And generally, gating objectives is a good thing to do. There's just one major downside to it. I'm at 2000 health without the smoke ready, and it's pretty darn obvious where I am if I flip the decap. So if the carrier comes for me, I just have to dodge, I guess. Like with 2000 health against the carrier, without the smoke to hide in, and no anti-air to help it out there, I feel like it... As I said, it comes with certain risks, right? So I've decided to go help out at A. We can flip A. I can try to spot the Kagero. I can potentially try to smoke my Cleveland if the smoke becomes ready again. I felt like, you know, going A might be the better option. I don't know, right? I mean, going D definitely had its things going for it. All of it would depend on how the enemy carrier reacts, right? If the carrier just hunts me down, I'd just be throwing my ship away. If the carrier fails at hunting me down, then it would have been a great move. Now, meanwhile, here, I can potentially torpedo a healthy Sinop, and I'm afraid the Kagero is too healthy for me to do something about it. But keep in mind, I'm just 1 kill away from Kraken. Also, by the way, it's not like I'm not taking an objective here, right? Instead of taking D, now I'm just taking A. So, you know. Hopes are on the way. Smoke's almost ready again. Oh, somebody spanked that Sinop. That's nice. You know, I could just technically smoke up and try to shoot the Sinop then. If I were healthy, I'd try to gun the Kagero, but with the amount of health I have, that's really not an option. Yet. Who knows? I mean, he's unspotted anyway. Okay, so now the Furies, right? I could smoke up here and shoot this here, but I have to be a bit careful because the Kagero might top my smoke screen. Also, by the way, we are doing very well on points. I guess we don't want to fall into the win harder trap, but I feel like taking a cap is definitely something we want to do because the enemy aren't that far behind, so with a few ships that could change. And there's the Kraken, and there is the heal. Obviously, there's also the reload buff now, and we got the cap. I think we got this at this point. I also admit I really wanted the Kraken. And now we can fight Kagero, right? Because, I mean, I'm still healing. And I have that reload buff. I'll take you on, Kagero, now. Come at me. There it is. Ah, look at that reload. Poor Kagero. Well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point anyway. Oh, he set me on fire. Hey, buddy, I'm still healing there. And there we go. Well, here we are with the results. That was a pretty good game there, I have to say. And as we can see by the planes shot down, the enemy carrier focused mostly on our Cleveland, it looks like. Still got second place in the enemy team, though, you know. So I guess, you know, focusing the top tier anti-airship pays off. He also, I feel, got some damage into me, I guess. Anyway, I got myself a Kraken, no Dreadnought, though. I guess I would have needed to heal for a bit longer for that. So anyway, it was a pretty nice battle. I think it was close for a lot of the parts. Maybe I should have split up a bit more from Viper earlier and try to cover more ground. But overall, you know, worked pretty well. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you next time.